Good morning, everybody. For, I don't know, the one that may watch today. Hi, I'm Dave. I'm going to open my drink and get started. I today am planning on modifying this beast. It's an Atari Flashback 2. Picked up, whoa, shaking the camera. Picked up from my buddy Phil, Fix It Phil. And I got a friend out in New Jersey who's going to buy it from me. But as it is, it only plays, 20, 30 games that are built in. I'm going to take a slot off of a 2600, add it into here so you can play original cartridges. And for fun, later in this, this is going to be a multi-part stream. I'm going to hopefully add one of these rocker switches here, or maybe possibly two if I can't figure out how to do it with one, onto this so we can enable the cartridge slot. Also enable to enable either cartridge or the built-in ROMs. So for now we don't need this because we got to get this slot out. So of all of the no one watching, how you guys doing? I will be looking over at the chat whenever I see something pop up. So everybody wants to talk, I'm here. Otherwise, let's turn on the hot air. It's actually my first time using the hot air station officially. So we will see if this works. Kind of heat up with 24 contacts here. I got up this morning and got my kids. And my wife got the kids ready, which is awesome. And then got my youngest out to daycare, and came home, played around with the oldest a little bit, got him to school, came home, added in my left camera. Ooh. I don't think this is going to work. There we go. That's starting to get some motion. I did one of these mods with Fix It Phil in his garage, and he's got a Hako desoldering gun, and it's amazing. And I'm jealous, and I want one, but I am not yet at a point where I can afford that. Good part is I don't care about this board, because this is a shot 2600, unfortunately, as most of them are. Such a classic game, though. Yeah, I built one of these. I did one of these mods over at Phil's and gave it to my brother for Christmas. It was the one game system that he told me he's not a big gamer by any means. In fact, he struggles connecting with his boys, his young children. He's got a high schooler and some grade middle school and a grade schooler. But he struggles to connect with them because they like to play video games, as kids these days do. And my brother is definitely not a video game guy. He thinks it's just a waste of time. But he told me once how much he's like, oh, that was the one thing I missed, so we wouldn't have gotten rid of our old Atari. Oh, that was so much easier. All right. Turn that noisy thing off. Anybody wondering, this is a typical hot air workstation. They're all over Amazon. It wasn't horribly expensive. They're all Chinese knockoffs of something better, probably. But yeah, it just blows ridiculously hot air. It's all in Celsius, but I think it was like 800 degrees. It was hot. It was a little toasty on my thumb. Put that back over there. Store that out of the way. I don't need it. Benefit of taking a kid to daycare every day. He likes to take a Pop-Tart with him. And he doesn't always eat it. He doesn't eat both of them. A little Pop-Tart for Dave. Let's check and see here what's going on. Nothing to care. All right. Now my plan this morning, I had some emails to write for work. Took care of that. Waiting on some replies. So figured I'd come out here and get this part started. And relieve this guy. That board is still toasty. And now all I want to do is I want to clean up these posts. So the goal in all of this is, while I heat up my solder iron, and get my container out here. Good. Oh, you're being a pain. Built a shelf, and it's just perfect for these little containers, but it's a little too perfect. There we go. And I'll probably do, I don't know, if anybody wants to watch me do it, that's great, but I need to take 24 wires, got an old ribbon cable here, thank you, Mr. Phil, and I'm going to open up the flashback. I don't need all of the length, but I'm going to use 24 of these, cut them, strip them, tin them off, attach them onto these 24 here, and I figure out which is pin 1. On the board, on the Flashback 2, there are 24 pinouts that we could solder onto. Once I figure out which is pin 1, then I just work down the line. I'll pull up a graph or a chart at some point. When I get to that point, I can do soldering. Which wire goes where. But nobody wants to really watch soldering ribbon cable. It's horribly boring. The first time I did this, it was a 7-hour stream. It was my first time ever doing any of this stuff. I don't think any of you guys want to sit around for 7 hours and watch me. Maybe you do. My buddy Matt, he likes watching me. So, let's see. I already have this out. All right, my soldering iron is heated up. And I lost my wick. Where are you? Uh-oh. Find my solder wick, which I misplaced, or I buried it behind some Wii lasers. Look at all my fun lasers. So excited. Had to make a stop over to Mr. Phil's house and buy some of his lasers because I was out. That's the other thing. If I get really bored one of these days, I'll start streaming Wii repairs because those are super fun and they can turn out to be a decent little profit if you find a place to buy them from you. You know, speak of Wii lasers, here's one. That one needs to go in the trash. I don't know where my solder wick is, and that makes me sad. Weird. I have no idea where that little thing went. Where it could have gone. Not many places. Oh well, I'll use it this way. Good old-fashioned solder sucker. Actually, you might be able to do just swiping and cleaning my iron. That might work. Anybody watching yet? I'm still learning how to use this streaming. I don't think anybody is watching. Users Abbott Costello. Who's that? I don't know. If anybody's on, send me a message. We can talk. Hang out. Get bored together. So all I'm doing here is trying to this really old nasty solder on these pins. We're going to be attaching new wire, new solder, much significantly better solder. I think there's probably some glue in here too. Looks like there's some dirt. Yeah, a little bit about me. I live here in Omaha, Nebraska. Been here since I was 5. In fact, I'm still in the same house. Both my parents passed away, and through the process of dealing with all of that, I ended up years later with the same house that I grew up in. Now I've got a young family myself, got 2 little boys, and my wife. Living here, trying to do the best thing we can, raise 2 little kids, make them good citizens of the world, and train them to be good. You know, the joy of being a parent is you get to mess them up, as your parents messed you up. Just hope that I don't mess them up. At least not too bad. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to. I keep mentioning Phil because Phil McPhee, he's on the Fix It Phil channel. He's the reason I'm into this. He's a wonderful guy, super caring, loving. He just really cares about people. He helped get me into this. I met him through my local game shop here, Ben's Game Zone. So if you're ever in Omaha, you can check him out. He's got an amazing store, selling everything from VHS and classic. I mean, that's where I buy all my Atari games. He's a wonderful dude. But I had a Virtual Boy, and I wanted it's starting to have some pins die out on or some lines on one of the lenses, and I didn't like that, so went to Ben and said, "Hey, you know anybody who could fix this, or is it possible to fix?" Or, like, "Oh, you gotta talk to Mr. Phil." I'm like, "Okay." So I reached out to Phil, went over to his house because he's here in Omaha also, and we struck it off really good. He's like a father figure. Phil's an amazing man. Streams a lot. He's a shameless plug for his channel. His stream is super fun. He fixes everything from Ataris, GameCubes, Wii's, Sega Genesis, PlayStation 1, 2. He's all over the place. A lot of the old classics. All right, well, that went a lot faster than I planned. I will be stopping the stream at some point. My wife and I are going to go out and have breakfast and then go to the gun range. So, but she's sleeping this morning. So I figured I'd kill some time out here. Let's open up the flashback. Pardon the screw mess here. I've mid-project and a couple other things. I got a bunch of Wii drives I'm working on, swapping out lasers on. But, alright, so it's a standard screw. What's amazing, once I get this thing open, is the size difference. When I first opened one of these, it kind of shocked me a lot. The Atari 2600, this board, I mean, it's physically about the same size as the Flashback. The components are huge. Obviously, it was made in the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s. But what amazed me was the size of the box of the 2600. It's like this big. It's huge. It's absolutely massive. It's about not quite as big as the center of my work mat here. And it has this little board inside. I guess everything was bigger in the 80s. But from what I have been told, there's a warning. If you do this, you're going to avoid a warranty. Yep. Okay, you destroy our warranties. Come on, screw. You suck. You're too big. This way. Pull through the sticker. A little bit of that hanging over here. Kind of in my way, keeping that screw from coming out. There we go. 4 screws liberated. Thing I like about I did one of these mods. I bought one modded from Phil. I modded one myself, gave it to my brother for Christmas, and then I'm missing a foot. I'm gonna figure that out. And now I have 2 more of these to mod. I think it'd be fun. All right, open this up. Nice thing on this though is it's 20 years newer and it's already AV modded natively, so you don't have to fight through that. There's a screw in the middle. Yep. Always gotta hide it. That one voids the warranty. This one they just don't tell you about. Alright, screws out and stuck inside. Nice. This cable is so ridiculously long. Makes it nice because this Flashback still uses the original controllers. And they plug in the back just like the original Atari. You can change it black and white or color to your side of your TV. So anyway, let me get the slack on this because I'm not gonna unsolder or desolder this. There's no reason. Just get some slack to get the shell out of the way. Hey, them dub. How are you doing? Can I still play River Raid? Well, I don't know that this has River Raid built in, but I do have a cartridge of River Raid downstairs, and it works great. Yeah, the cables are longer than others. That's what she said. All right, let's get that way over there, out of the way. You know, watching Phil stream all the time, I have fun and poke fun at him a lot. He was complaining like, dude, you never read the chat. I get it. It's way over there. It's hard to see. Let's see. I think I could pop it out. There we go. Try to get a little bit closer here. Dub is, do I know you or are you random? You just randomly bump into me or are you one of Phil's group? Got a bunch of screws here. My buddy who's going to be buying this from me, I told him he should hop on, but he's got some work he's got to get done this morning. Oh, hey, Mike. Them dub. Oh, them dub. Got it. Hey, buddy. Mike here's an old coworker of mine. I actually went to the same high school, but I didn't know him then. He was a football guy. I was a marching band guy. Though, I remember when I started at Bellevue West High School, my algebra teacher was Coach Schumacher, the football coach, and he begged me. He's almost on his hands and knees begging me to play football and to wrestle. I'm not a tiny person. I currently weigh 10 pounds less than I did in high school. And yeah, being a big guy in high school, especially wrestling, he's like, Dave, you don't look 300 pounds. You're built like a tank. You could destroy in wrestling. You should have played in band. We would have accepted you. We accepted everybody. All the weirdos. Yeah, Coach Schumacher was just like, please, please, please wrestle, because the guys who are in high school are 300 pounds are generally just giant fatties. I mean, there's no nice way of putting it. And like, you please come and play football or wrestle, because you would destroy. You would just like push them over, and they're like turtles. They can't flip back over. And you're big and strong. I don't know. Stream disconnected. All right. We'll see what that looks like later. Yeah, this is my first stream, so we're going to see how well this works. I'm going to eventually hardwire this computer. More chicks in football. Yeah, you know, maybe. but they're all dudes, especially these days. And in band, yeah, band was fun. I enjoyed the heck out of band. You know, I was raised in a very musical family, and mom literally dropped me out. She was tired of dealing with me that summer. She's like, "You're gonna go join band with your sister." I'm like, "What?" And she kicked me out and said, "Here, walk in there. They know to expect you." I'm like, okay. I love you, mom." It's weird. All right, so keep track of all my little buttons here. Those two have springs. I'm going to snap a picture. Hey, Michael, you could have been like Ryan. Oh, what's Ryan's last name? Shoot. He was football and band. He didn't get any checks either. All right, so size comparison, because comparing sizes is always fun. Can only play cartridges, and I believe this is the ROM. One of these two is the ROM chip with like 20, 30 games on it. It's crazy. What 20 years will do. All right, so take our springs out. What I'm going to have to look up, because I did not pre-do this, I didn't look it up before the stream because I'm a horrible individual. On this board, there are a whole lot of little slots. Let's see if I can't edit this camera. Zoom it in here for you guys. Yeah, that's cool. Does it go more? No, okay, that's as close as it gets. Okay. That's fun. All right, on this board, and I'm going to have to pull up a list, but like here's number 24. Let's see, here's 2, maybe? Is that 02 or Q2? I can't remember. There's 23. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. As you can see, it's a little blurry there. Sorry about that. Yeah, there's a lot of little itty bitty pins on here. And so what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to pull up a list, and I'll share it in the stream. I think there's a way I could share a picture of what I'm looking for. There are all these little pads have no solder, so I'm going to have to solder a dot onto each one of those. Then I'm going to have to take some ribbon cable, tin off my edges or my tips, solder them on here, keep track of which is which, and then solder them onto these 24 pins. In this room, there we go. Solder onto the 24 pins from the cartridge slot. Yeah, that focus is way off. Let's see here, camera. Turn off autofocus. Whoa. That's fun. Make people sick. Do by increments. That's about probably as good as you're going to get, huh? All right. Anyway, stop playing with the cameras, Dave. Yeah, I'm going to take these. I'm going to peel them back and do individuals. The last time I didn't, I stripped them all the way out, and just had a mess of 24 wires. Probably will take and figure out which is slot 1 on this, because it'll be 1 through 12, 13 to 24. Solder onto this and then mod it in. However, before we get to that, and even before, this will be a second stream, just tinning out all my little hole. I think here's 22, 20, 19, 17 are down here, 21's over here. It's crazy. So they're kind of all spaced around on the board. There is, and I will have to look this up. There's a jumper. Where is it? It's like this guy here. I think you break this one, and then you connect these two or something like that. What I'm hoping to do is the jumpers that we have to sever, and then the one we have to set. I want to set that on 2 switches, so that on the shell, top shell. Here we go. Somewhere in here. Now the Atari logo is behind this part. Let's see. My buttons are all going to fall out. Okay. Somewhere on here, possibly on the side, towards the top, I'll put the 2 toggle switches, and you flip them both up or both down, then it'll play the built-in ROM games. And they flip them both the other way, then it'll play cartridge games. So that's my goal. Mine currently doesn't do that. The one I have, I'm going to, if it works, I'm going to do that to mine as well, because it's a pretty cool feature. Or go to your local game shop and buy a bunch of cartridges, like I did. All right. So that's what my board's going to look like. There's my slot. Now the super fun time. I'm going to have to knock these buttons out. Okay. Let's just set them up here. There's no crazy order. Got 3 actual physical switches and 2 just hit pads on the board. That. I am going to have to cut a hole in this plastic and stick this in. Now, the thing to take note of, there is a screw post in the middle, so I don't want to get in the way of that. Though I don't think it's required. I probably will go grab mine downstairs and see where no, I have Phil's. Mine I gave to my brother. Where I stuck that slot. Then got to make sure that we have enough room to get the slot in with the pins below, because it kind of is at it's not a big angle. Yeah, I just want it to be in this range. I want to put the slot right in here. So if we go maybe this third line in and cut it here. Now just do some Dremel work. Cut it in a slot. Once this fits down inside, I'll hot glue it from the back side. Seems to hold just fine. And then, yeah. What I do need to verify though, step 1 is figure out our pins, which is pin 1, etc. And then, because that changed the shape, the shape on this is a little bit different. It's a little hard to see, but there's a little bit more bevel on this side than there's on this side. Once I get the biggest opening cut out of here, and then I'll just do some fine work. I got a couple Dremels here, so different cutting wheels that I'll use to cut the big hole, and then just fine tune it down in, and use at the very end I'll use sanding to just get a really tight fit, so it's a really good quality fit. So yeah, that's what I've got going on. Michael, thanks for hopping on today. It's fun. We got a friend here. Let me go grab a cartridge and my Atari, and I will be right back. I'm back. All right. Michael, brought it up for you, bud. Also Spider Fighter, because that's Phil's favorite. All right. Zoom my camera back out here. Why is it not working? So you can zoom in, but you can't zoom out. There we go. All right. So here's the one that I bought from Phil that got me all started on this. And it looks like he cut into the second line. So inside of this one. And what's really nice about having one that to compare it to, my cartridges go in this way. Which is this way. All right. So that's the way it needs to go. The other thing that would be nice right now is a silver shark. I have one in my car, I believe. One second. I do not. But I have a blue that has been in the car for, I honestly have no idea how long. So, let's see if this even works. My kingdom for a piece of paper. Whoa, okay. It's been in the car so long the cap literally just shattered. Fun. Good times. Oh, it works. All right. Let's get the crunk in here. I do not have a small ruler. I should get one. Michael, if you're still here, this chair I'm sitting on. Hey, needle special, bud. Met Michael officially through, let's call that 8.5, 4.25 is my center line. We hired him when I was still part of Hey Needle. He's a good dude. I like you, Michael. I don't care what they say. All right, it's 3 3/8 long. Right here should be. Yep. All right, check the width. This thing is tapered. The slots are tapered. Let's see if I can show it to you. So it's kind of a wedge shape. That bit me the first time. So I'm going to go small on the short side. Cut the slot. I'm just going to call it a 1-inch slot. Because it's kind of annoying. We're going to go here, So if we just remove that, and we'll do inside the lines above and below. There's a 1-inch slot. Cool. Then I'll be sanding to really kind of dial it in. That pen is not destined for this world. Take a bite. Let's see here. Got a couple people texting me about random stuff. Oops. I get some really funny memes from friends. Not appropriate for a random stream. Here's a fun thing. I'm super excited. My new 3D printer is out for delivery. And I am also excited. My buddy Matt, this is going to be his flashback. He helped me kind of dial in what I wanted. And helped me figure out where to buy it and all that. My current 3D printer is dead. I can't get it to work right. It was cheap. It was a very fun intro to 3D printing, but it was time to upgrade. Something a little bit more mainstream, can use standard file, a little more open source. So I got an Ender 3 V2. So it's got all the mods already built into it. So based on what I've heard from Matt, the thing is, it's silent. It is just absolutely silent, and I'm excited. All right, let's see. I got a couple options in drill bits here. Wish I had a center cut switch. Just bought some new. I was doing some work around the house and needed to cut. Oh no, it was one of my kids' toys I got for Christmas. It was a cheap. It was his birthday. It was like a toy semi truck, and it had dinosaurs in the back, and he loves it. And I want him to be able to play with it as much as humanly possible. However, one of the doors broke, the little plastic tab broke off, so I used my Dremel to cut off a piece of one of those binder clips and made a straight shaft out of that, and then heated it up and melted it through the plastic to give it a hinge. Had a little fun. Always fun anytime you get out in the shop and just create. And I already found on my 3D printer one I got, supposedly, according to Matt, it is like you will be doing the building. Like it comes in parts and you get to put it together, which is exciting, a little daunting. But like I've always said, the best part about owning a truck is having a friend who owns a truck. Well, the best part about a 3D printer is having a friend who has the exact same one. So I will be doing some Zoom sessions with him to learn how to use it. But I found a Thingiverse file to make Minecraft torches. You know, about that long. Do some LED lights inside. I can always do it with battery powered or whatever. I'm going to make a couple for my kid's room. Marzadex, how are you? How are you doing today? Are you a random walk-in, or are you from Phil's channel? Marzadex, currently I have an old XYZ DaVinci Jr. And I can't get it to work. I've changed computers, and I don't have the software, and their webpage is not being super forthcoming as to how to get the software. A lot of pages aren't loading right, and I have a suspicion XYZ is not loving the DaVinci line right now. So they still exist as a company, but I just can't figure out what they're trying to do here. So I am upgrading to an Ender 3. No. Yeah, Ender 3. All right. Hey. You know, watching Marzadex, watching Phil all these years, what, a year and a half I've been watching him now. I never pay attention to people's names. I'm absolutely horrible at it. I have to tell people, like, well, you know, the hard part is for me, I have to learn all of your names, but you guys only have to learn mine. So isn't that easier? Just show this stuff off camera where you get, you kind of can see it over there, can't you? I'm making a mess, whatever. All right, so what I've done, laid out where I want this thing to cut. This is supposed to be a spiral cutter. I guess we'll see. Need to figure out a better power solution out here. Get some power, get a power strip down underneath my bench or something. Let's just start in the middle. I don't know how well this is going to work. I think that's actually going to work. That's going to work really good. However, I value my eyes. Well, that's weird. 1 second, let me get some eye protection. I remember where it is. When you put things away. There we go. Let that be a lesson to you. Don't put things away. You'll never find them again. All right, let's make a mess. All right, calling an audible. I'm going to use the cutting wheel first for the bulk. That's a huge cutting wheel. Ooh. Guess we're using that. I was hanging around on Amazon looking for new cutting wheels for my little knockoff Dremel that I own, and then I found I had an uncle pass away that left me some tools, and he left me an actual Dremel branded Dremel, But look at these monstrosities. Like, I don't know if you can tell. These things are, yeah, serrated. These are like little spinning saw, little blades of death. Like, I'm a little nervous to even use that. They were like, well, you can cut down trees. I'm like, who's cutting down a tree with a Dremel? Like, okay, that's what you're into, I suppose. Nothing is so great as to sit out here with weird safety glasses on and talk to yourself. It's fun. When I did this mod at Phil's, he does not have a. Oh, he kind of has a Dremel. He did not have the same random assortment of tools that I do. Do you have a sander? He's like, no. Oh, come on, Phil. So, Marsadex, where are you living at? I know the other guy kind of in here. Them Dove, he lives here in Bellevue with me in Omaha. Where do you live, bud? Oh, that's okay. Marza, I'm actually adding a 2600 cartridge slot. So when I started this morning, this is a 2600 board. I pulled the cartridge slot off of it, and then there's two jumpers on the board, two or three, that you have to modify to be able to play a cartridge. So when all is said and done, this thing will play standard cartridges like anyone else, like any other 2600. Louisiana. Is it Michael? Is that Michael? Or do we have more than one Louisiana guy in Phil's group? That's already annoying me. I have a solution for this. Hey, Mike. So, them Dub, he's also Mike. I guess it's the Mike show this morning. I want to stop eating plastic, though. Oh, yeah. Super sexy. So much better. Airflow's a little bad. Yeah. So much easier than modding the video. This won't do HDMI. This is just component when it's done. Or whatever. AV. But that works. And you can buy a secondary mod for that. Or an adapter. A 90s plastic. Oh, that's disgusting. That smells awful. Oy. Wow, it's a mess. This is way easier to do at somebody else's house because then I didn't clean it up. Alright. Now, break off some of this nuclear plastic. It's quite toasty, especially that one that's stuck to my shirt. I have to go find my little tiny vacuum cleaner. Got a little tiny portable. I think it was meant for tech work, but technically it's a tech, right? That's nasty smelling plastic. Straight out of the 90s. All right. Yeah, I will have to, because I got another one of these to do. I'm going to mod it and then see if my local game shop wants to buy it. They sell the games, but I don't know if they have Ataris to play them on. And this is a fun mod because you're not, I'm not modifying other than the plastic really and adding some wires. That's true. Yeah, they don't really cut it. Ooh, it's stinky. Very acrid. Big word. Your wordle of the day. Acrid. Mike's, do you guys do the wordles? You gotten into that? All right. I started messing around with Wordle. Got a buddy here in town who does it every day, so I figured, I'll try it. I thought it was silly when I first heard about it. It's a lot harder than I thought. Kind of annoying. Because, of course, now it's a challenge, and it's making me mad because I got to try to defeat the challenge. I don't know if this kicks it or not. Let's look at it. Does not kick as bad as the other. Which is nice. Yeah, I had one first word, I guess, first or second, and I got 3. But then it was just like, there's so many words with those 3. I was like, I don't know what to guess. I was very annoyed. That's very loud. Realizing how loud that is, I try to be a little nice to my wife, I think. It'd be nice. All right. Oh, it's an awful sound. hellacious mess. All right, so yeah, realizing the stream, you got to read the questions. Yes, Dremels don't really cut; they melt. Um, yeah, I'm nice to my family. Your ears are bleeding. Sorry, sorry. I mean, sorry, not sorry. Realizing it's just you and Mike who are mics. I think mics can handle it, right? That's what I've been told. Mics are pretty tough in general. Look at that mess. Ugh. I guess I needed to clean the bench, right? Got screws flying around. All right. I love these silicone mats, but you really have to. They don't clean well. Like vacuum is about the only way I found to clean it well. Yeah, Mike. I usually am watching Phil with headphones on because doing dishes or cooking or whatever. Or the kids are doing something, so I just put the headphones on so I can understand what Phil's saying. And when he turns his air compressor on, I'm just like, my ears are bleeding. This is 90s plastic. I'm probably getting cancer. Oh well. All right. Lucky me, you don't fit. Okay, so there has got to be something in my little repertoire of tools here. What are you? That could work. Mike, how's the school today? Are you guys got off this week or? Yeah, it gets hot down there, doesn't it? It's going to be a balmy like 80 today. I'm annoyed. It storms last night. Yeah, the really interesting part, Mike, is coming later. Right now, I'm just cutting a slot. This is going to take. I probably won't finish. I may or may not finish this part today. The really interesting part, and in this stream, I'm going to pull up. I'll get rid of one of the videos and put up the actual diagram, so you are aware. On the board, because I don't think you were here yet when I was talking about it. I lost my screwdriver. There it is. And there's a map out online, but like here's pins 17, 18, 16, 22, 1 through 6, 7, 8. There's some over in here. They're spaced. Here's 11, 10, and 9. So they're spaced all over the board. And you essentially I'm just going to use a ribbon cable. Just an old classic IDE ribbon cable. Tin off the ends. And then the 24 slots on the bottom of your cartridge slot compared to the 24 on here, solder them on. The pads don't have solder, so you got, do an initial on them and move on. And then, and I'll have to look this up again because Phil and I had to look it up. I think it's this jumper and this one, and then there's 2 over here. So you break 2 and attach 2, something along those lines. Once you do that, then it plays cartridges. This one, once I figure out what needs to break and what needs to go together, I'm going to try to reuse the switches the actual on-off switches here on the original 2600, and mod those into the shell also, down in here somewhere. Probably over on this side. That way you can enable ROMs or turn them, go with cartridge. I don't know. So they must have tried, intended to do that. There's a really good chance of that, but the Flashback 2 is the only one. So Flashback 1 didn't do it. 2 has the pinouts, but the 3 doesn't. Only the 2 can do it. So, weird, but it is what it is. Anyway, go get your artwork done, bud. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for stopping in to say hi. You and Mike are the two Mikes are my first visitors in my actual stream. I tested this with my buddy out in New Jersey yesterday to make sure it was streaming right, but yeah, good job. Voltage of the ROM chips. What do you mean? The voltage of the ROM chips wouldn't be native to the A33 ARM that they used. What do you mean? I'm not trying to use a chip. Are you talking about my switches? I just wanted, because I like the look of these switches. I think they're cool. I was thinking of just taking these because it's 6-pin on the switches, but I only need it on-off. I don't know. I'm sure there's somebody out there who's talked about it, so I'm going to do some research off camera, figure out what the heck. Just because, this kind of like brushed steel makes my skin crawl, but yeah, these two are temporary. They bounce back, but these are actual on-off. And if I can't use that, I was thinking about doing just a different stream or a different switch, just so that like my Flashback, I have it only does cartridges. In order to make it play with the ROM inside, I have to go in and change some solder joints, and I don't want to. The ARM processor on the Flashback would be 3.3 instead of the 5. Well, yes, except once I break the jumper and connect, so break one, connect one, it plays cartridges just fine. I don't know. Or are you talking about the newer Flashbacks? Maybe it's because this is an older Flashback? I don't know. You got me questioning what's going on. Making your ears bleed. Oh, that's why you're thinking it must have been originally designed for cartridge and then they scrapped. That would make sense, yeah, if they changed the processors. And yeah, that would actually make a lot of sense. This little bit is going to be great later, but not right now. This is the problem I had before when you're making this. Now, this cutting wheel I have is huge. This one will work. The cutting wheels I was using on the first time I did this mod were a lot smaller, and I couldn't get the angle to get the cut to really clean up the edges. But now I have more tool options. So I will use my cutter here, a straight line cutter again. I got to make this port hole just a little bit bigger. Louisiana Mike over here, like, well, you know the voltages, making me feel like an idiot. I mean, I am. So, good job. Hi, honey. I was just trying to be nice. Sorry.
I'm not feeling like shooting.
Okay, we don't have to.
I'm not. It's been a long 2 weeks. This is my first day off.
That's fine.
I don't want to do anything aggressive.
That's fine. You just want to go get breakfast? Sure. You can keep it open. I was just trying to kill some of the noise for you. All right. Needs to go down some more. So the slot cartridge slot here, these ribs are just on the edge. If you sometimes can thin them enough to fit, sometimes you can't. So that's what's holding my slot. Hey, starting to fit. Again, like I said, it is tapered. So I personally like to err on the side of I'm just picky this way. I like to go as accurate as I can. It's 2.5 to there. So I'm going to take more off on this side. I just want it to be mostly centered. Because that's the kind of guy I am. So I'm going to take it off on this side now. There's no good way to do this. Toasty. Alright, so my left to right is looking pretty good. Sorry, Matt, it's not perfectly centered. Sorry. But I think I got enough opening there. My top and bottom, however, need a little bit of work. Which I think at this point I've cut enough. I think it's just finesse now. So let's get this guy off and get some sanding wheels. Toasty. This one's pretty aggressive, but it's already on, so let's try it. I don't know. Can't hurt. Trying something new. Wife called an audible. No gun range today. Oh, that's okay. Those of you who don't know, my wife just had neck surgery. Oh my gosh, look at my arm. She just had surgery on her neck. We had to have fuse 3 of her cervical vertebrae. She just finishing her 3rd week back at work. So a little worn down, not feeling it today, so that's fine. Do something different. Still have breakfast. All right, making yours bleed in 3, 2. If I was going to do this often, I would get a cordless Dremel. Take off the top here. That's a mess. All right, so when I push this down, you'll see it rebounds. There's a good light for you. So I'm getting real close. However, I think there, I think it's just got a high point here and here. That might be it. I'm a little concerned because the more I work and sand and grind on this plastic, the more I'm enjoying the smell. All right, so it still rebounds. Let's see if I can see where that's coming at. Where's it pitching? I think down there in the corners. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. definitely up on this side. It's pinching. A little bit of pinch doesn't bother me so much, but a lot of pinch, and the cartridges don't want to fit down in there properly. So, gotta know when to hold them, know when to melt some more plastic. Trying to get a good angle here. Ah, so close. Very little rebound. All right, so my corners need to stop working on them. That's too much. Once I close it up, you won't see, but there's a little bit of gap on each one of these corners. Let's see. It's still pinching right up in here. You can see the plastic flex just a scooch. Thinking if I hit, yeah. There's a little bit of a lip on this. Not much, but a little bit. So it can be kind of forgiving. Not much though. Alright. Ever so little rebound. If I pinch it down, hold it inside there, do my cartridges load? Perfect. And they pull out. I think that is it. I really want to know what's causing it to slide back out, though. Oh, you're touching right there. You gotta know when to hold. Oh yeah, that'll get held in with super glue or hot glue just fine. Perfect. Yeah, a little too much in those two corners, these front two corners. The taper on it is steeper than it is back here. But that's got like a 1/8 of an inch rise on the rebound, which I could fix right there. Just a little bit. Arrgh. I don't think I'm ever going to get it perfect though. However, that should hold in just fine. All right. Cool. Well, hey, at this point, I'm going to throw it on the ground. The next phase of this is cutting and stripping and tinning a whole bunch of wires, 24 of them. They don't need to be very long, but they are very annoying. They're very tiny. They're easy to break. And then attach them on here, but knowing which is pin 1 is key. I am tempted. I don't really want to open up the one I have because Phil told me to never open it because he wasn't proud of his work, I guess. But it would help me see which board. Either way, so yes, next I will be cleaning, because this is annoying me, and I'm going to go get my suck weasel and take care of that. So after this, I will be then hot gluing this in place. I'm just doing a whole bunch of hot glue all the way around the edges. And then I will get to cutting some wires. So I probably will do the wire cutting off camera because it's just arduous and tedious and annoying. And then I will, actually I might shrink tube some of them. That could be kind of fun. I got a whole bunch of shrink tube. Anyway, I got some ideas. But I'm going to cut wires. I'm going to tin wires before the next stream. And then I will start on hot gluing. I'll do the wires here first, because then I can kind of keep track of which wire's which. And if I'm really ducky... oh yeah, so there is an annoyance. I remember this now. The board goes back in this way, but your wires need to attach underneath there. So you have to play with your wires a little bit. Anyway, my wife looks about ready to go, so I'm going to say goodnight to all you guys, or good day, or whatever. And I will talk to you later. See ya.